Ferrari has a big master plan for Lewis Hamilton as they reportedly added a second private test session to Lewis Hamilton's pre-season schedule for F1 2025, with one additional trip planned in Barcelona in late January, making sure the seventh-time world champion is fully up to speed with Ferrari's cars before starting the season. Will this bring them the desired effect, and are we witnessing the start of something special here? The news broke after F1's governing body, the FIA, proposed a crucial rule change for the 2025 season, which was partially inspired by Red Bull and Max Verstappen, according to reports. Hamilton has just officially joined Ferrari ahead of the upcoming season, following the expiration of his Mercedes contract on December 31st, 2024. The seven-time world champion's move to Maranello has been almost a year in the planning, with Hamilton confirming last February that he would join Ferrari on a multi-year contract, beginning in F1 2025. Following a brief winter break, during which Hamilton will celebrate his 40th birthday on January 7th, the British driver is set to begin working with his new team later this month. Hamilton is likely to have his first taste of Ferrari gear at the team's Fiorano test track later this month, though the team has yet to determine whether to use the 2022 car, the F175, or the 2023 chassis for his debut. Ferrari has usually held a two-day wake-up test in Fiorano in January, allowing the team and drivers to get back up to speed before the actual pre-season begins in February. This year's Fiorano test is scheduled for the week of January 20th, with reports last month stating Ferrari has planned to transfer the run to Mugello or Imola in the event of bad weather. According to the latest reports coming from Italy, Ferrari has decided to go all out and added an extra January test to Hamilton's winter calendar, with the team planning a second session at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, home of F1's Spanish Grand Prix, at the end of the month. Ferrari is thought to have scheduled a 4-day window at the Barcelona circuit in late January, allowing the team critical flexibility to perform 2 essential days of on-track testing. The Scuderia has devised this elastic test program for Lewis's preparation following the FIA's more severe limits. And with the new regulation changes, regular drivers will be able to run 1,000 kilometers in 4 days with the previous cars starting this year. Hamilton will be busy at Fiorano before moving on to Barcelona. 1,000 kilometers in 4 days, the equivalent of 3 races and a bit more. This is the amount of time Lewis Hamilton will have to become used to Ferrari's working system before the unveiling of the 2025 single-seater next February 19th and the Tour de Force that will follow, which will include a filming day and 3 days of collective testing in Bahrain. In Maranello, they have designed an elastic test schedule to assure the best possible weather conditions given the constraints of January. The goal is to ensure a few days of testing in suitable track conditions so that the long-planned work may be completed. The 7-time world champion's long-awaited debut behind the wheel of a Ferrari, the 2022 or 2023 single-seater, is set for the Fiorano circuit on a day that could change, depending on weather conditions, between January 20th and 21st. According to reports, the test program will continue on the Barcelona track in the last few days of January in the hopes of finding gentler temperatures. Also, in this scenario, Ferrari has guaranteed themselves a window of many days, at least 4, to postpone the test in the event of inclement weather. A precaution that has also become required as a result of new laws governing TPC, testing of previous cars, testing, which involves single-seaters used at least 2 seasons before the current one. On December 11th, the FIA published a new version of the sporting regulations with additional elements, including a provision governing TPC testing. Paragraph G of Article 10.2 establishes new limits. If an F1 World Championship driver conducts a TPC test, he will be subject to mileage and duration restraints. A maximum mileage in the calendar year of 1,000 kilometers has been introduced, which can be reached across 4 different test days. For drivers who are not registered in the Formula One World Championship, the days increase to 20 with no mileage restrictions. In Hamilton's situation, every lap will count, especially now that the kilometers have been limited. The FIA tightened the rules after some teams voiced concerns last year about tests conducted in accordance with the standards but outside the spirit of the law. One of the most talked about examples was Red Bull's test day on the Imola circuit in June last year, when Max Verstappen took to the track with the 2022 single-seater for some technical checks, contradicting the original purpose of the TPC tests, which was to provide an opportunity for drivers to become acquainted with driving an F1 single-seater and its working methods. The 1,000 kilometers provided by the regulations allow the driver to acclimatize and become acquainted with the working system, a situation that Hamilton and all other drivers who are about to make their debut with a new team face. Lewis will have 4 days during which the team will aim to make his integration as simple as possible. Then, beginning with the first day of testing in Bahrain with the 2025 single-seater, we will begin talking about performance. But that's only part 1 of Ferrari's plan to bring Hamilton to new heights, as the team will start F1 2025 by backing Lewis Hamilton over Charles Leclerc, with the 7-time world champion and Charles Leclerc set for a showdown at the Monaco Grand Prix. At least, that is the claim made by ex-F1 designer turned commentator Gary Anderson, who is warning Leclerc of a dramatic shift at Ferrari after the team chose to hire Hamilton over Carlos Sainz. Hamilton to Ferrari is a deal that has been signed and sealed since last winter, with Hamilton activating a release clause in his Mercedes contract to make F1 2024 his 12th and final season with the Silver Arrows. Hamilton has won 6 of his record-breaking 7 World Championship titles with Mercedes. Sainz also knew heading into last season that he needed to find a new home on the grid, which he eventually found at Williams, and signed a multi-year contract. While Sainz and Leclerc had their moments of tension on the track at Ferrari, the pair had a very pleasant relationship outside of the cockpit, with any disagreements quickly handled. However, with Hamilton now at the team, having signed a multi-year Ferrari contract reputedly worth more than $400 million, Leclerc has been cautioned that the atmosphere inside Ferrari will change, and he will need to lead the team away from backing Hamilton. For Charles Leclerc, there won't be the same family team atmosphere that Sainz brought to Ferrari, Anderson said. Yes, they had their battles, but resolved most of them amicably. With Hamilton, a 7-time champion, joining, it could be completely different. Ferrari has already backed him to the hilt in paying him way more than Leclerc, and I think it will do the same. Back Hamilton, for the first part of the season at least, which could rile Leclerc. I think Monaco will be the showdown. Both are good there, but Leclerc is exceptional. Hamilton enters F1 2025 and the start of his Ferrari career chasing a record 8th World Championship, which has eluded him since his Abu Dhabi 2021 heartbreak, but his fortunes may be about to change, as Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur believes Hamilton, and crucially Leclerc, can compete for the F1 2025 title. Max Verstappen of Red Bull will defend his title as he aims for his 5th Drivers' Championship in a row. When asked if Hamilton and Leclerc could beat Verstappen for the F1 2025 title, Vasseur said, "Yeah, if you have a look at this season, 2024, I think Charles scored the biggest number of points after Monza, or something like this, when we started to react and started to do a better job on our side. It means that everything is possible. It's just a matter to put everything together to minimize the number of mistakes. It's true that on this season, the long season, 24 events that we have always up and down. But what is positive for us is that we had a tough journey around June, July, and as a team, we were able to react and to react quickly. And this is encouraging." A said, Hamilton will get his first taste of Ferrari machinery in January during a test session at their Fiorano track, as Ferrari decides whether to use the F175 or SF23, with TPC testing of previous cars regulations, requiring that the chassis be at least 2 years old. And Ferrari has also arranged another Ferrari test for Hamilton at the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, home of the Spanish Grand Prix, ahead of Bahrain pre-season testing on February 26th to 28th. But will this be enough testing to get Hamilton up to speed with the Ferrari? And will he be able to challenge the rest of the grid from day one? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below.